does with regard to local elected officials, county and city officials, school board members. You'll see the list starting on line 12 through line 17. Even includes members of the Public Service Commission, district attorneys, Solicitor General. It lists all them out. Then line 18 talks about upon indictment of a felony by a grand jury. So a grand jury would have to be convened, and they would have to determine that there was enough evidence against this person to render an indictment. And the indictment, if you look on line 19, the indictment would have, first it has to be a felony, then it would have to relate to the performance or activities of the office. And then you would, line 20, it talks about the establishment of the commission to determine whether or not the felony indictment does indeed prevent them from performing their public duties, and then they would be removed. Calls for a speedy hearing. Then let's see down I believe while in line 44, while a public official is suspended under this code section, the public official shall not be entitled to receive the compensation from his or her office. If the public official is reinstated, he or she shall be entitled to receive any compensation withheld under the provisions of this code section. So they do have due process in this measure, and if they were exonerated, again, they would be entitled to receive their back pay. Line 39, I'm backing up here, line 39, during the term of office to which such officer was elected in which the indictment occurred, if and these are legal terms that I don't fully understand, but if a nolle prosequi is entered, if the public official is acquitted, or if after conviction the conviction is later overturned as a result of any direct appeal or application for a writ of certiorari, the public official should be immediately reinstated. And then on down, if on line 47 through 49, if they're reinstated, they're entitled to receive any compensation withheld.
Senator Walker, if you will, are you working off which LC number?
I'm sorry. So this is Senate Bill 218, LC 280123.
23. Yeah, that one did not get in folders.
Senator, could you read it out one more time?
LC 280123.
Okay. I'm following you, but we don't have that bill, I don't believe, in file, do we?
So I worked up a substitute per the request of the chairman, and I'd be happy to talk to the substitute. I prefer to go with the bill as dropped,
As is.
but
Okay. Let's do this just in time. Could you do this, and can we get a copy of this bill real quickly and let our speakers speak? No, I was going to let the people who wanted to speak on the bill speak, and I think we've got Wes Burleson with the insurance department, and if you can get us a copy right quick of the bill that Senator Walker is working off of. Give me the number one more time so we've all got it.
yeah, excuse me, LC 280123. That's the Senate Bill 218, and then Senate Resolution 134 addresses constitutional officers and members of the General Assembly. Same exact concept.
Okay.
and it's LC 280124. LC 280124.
Okay, we do not have those numbers, but we're going to work on those.
280123.
Okay, let's work on, if you don't mind working with us, we'll try to get copies of those so that we don't have to stop. We'll try to get you through.
All right.
And let's let, I'm going to let Wes Burleson with the insurance department speak, and then we'll pull you back, bring you back up if we could, and get copies of those. So
Thank you,
everybody's
Mr.
got
Chairman.
that. Okey-doke.
I
Thank
think, if you don't mind, I think Mr. West is more, he probably is going to want to speak to Senate Resolution 134, which deals with constitutional officers and members of the General Assembly. And this Senate Resolution 134 would require a constitutional amendment, so it would be on the ballot.
Okay.
And it's got both of these bills have bipartisan support. I do want to point that out too. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Senator Walker. Appreciate that. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. Weston Burleson with the Insurance and Safety Fire Commissioner John F. King's office. Appreciate you having me here this morning. We are in favor of the resolution that applies to constitutional officers. As you know, our former commissioner was suspended from office on May 16th, 2019. He's still receiving paychecks from our office. Spoke to our CFO this morning. We've paid him $343,770.35 since May 16th, 2019. To put that into perspective, we could have used those funds to hire building inspectors who make $41,000 starting, insurance fraud investigators at $46,000, and or arson investigators at $52,000. So we strongly support this legislation in its current form, and appreciate you taking it up today.
Okay. Okay, Doug. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Senator Walker, if you're okay, I'm going to hold for you just for a little bit and go on to our next bill, and then we'll have those in file because I'd like to get your two out today, if that's okay, and we got a little bit of time. Sorry for the confusion, but we'll make that happen from that standpoint. So I'm going to switch, if we will, in your folders, Senator Davenport, and we'll make sure that we got the, excuse me, questions. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was trying to get you.
Senator, whoops.
As he was going through the one that we are gonna get, it looks like we had the same language. So I would respectfully request that if there are changes based on new information, so we don't have to go back through the
Right.
whole thing, that's the request. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
when we get it, we'll just have a copy and file, I think, to be appropriate. And then there is
Yeah.
just a small change, or there's a change, and we'll let Senator Walker address that when he comes back. Is that
Thank you,
fair?
That's fair.
Just don't want to lose our
Exactly.
momentum as far as that portion. All right, if you will, oops. Senator Davenport, if you'll look in your files, we should have LC 338596, am I correct?
Yes, that is right.
And we will, would love to hear from you. And let me,
Mr. Chairman, and to the members of the committee, I'm bringing forth Senate Bill 108, and this bill basically creates a commission for the blind and visually impaired. As it stands now, the Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Agency takes care of the duties of the blind. And what we're trying to do is just create a commission for that. And it will provide for the transfer of the functions of the commission, provide for the composition and the appointments of the commission members. Of course, the governor will appoint a chairperson and a member, and the lieutenant governor, two members, and the Speaker of the House, 2 members. And then it also will have an executive director and will provide for the duties and powers of the commission. Authorize the commission to licensed blind persons to create operating vending facilities. In other words, it will just give them more independence. And several persons have called me, and agencies have called me, organizations saying they want a little more independence, and plus they want some to make sure that the blind and visually impaired are taken care of. Now things are kind of falling through the cracks, and we just want to make sure that happens. It's managed right now by Georgia Vocational Rehab Agency, GVRA, and that will move the commission. It will move everything to the commission. Licensing blind persons to operate vending machines, and it will carve out blind persons from GVRA, but GRA will still license persons with other disabilities. In other words, we're not trying to take anything away from other disabilities, just create a commission for the blind and visually impaired.
Okay, okey-doke, okey-doke. Questions to the author? Anybody? Number 11, Senator Say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for bringing this. My only question is there compensation for this new commission? And if so, is there a fiscal impact?
Well, everything that's already for the what do you call that? The services that already been made, it will be that too. Of course, the executive director will get compensation for that. And there's no compensation for the members. They will get per diem, just like all the other agencies.
Okay, okey-doke. Any other questions or comments to the author? No one? Okay. We've got two individuals to speak to the bill, and Danielle McIntyre, if you will, and give us your name and where you're from and your position.
Yes.
And she is in favor of the bill, so we'll look forward to hearing from you. So thank you for coming. Appreciate it, Danielle.
Thank you for hearing this bill today. My name is Danielle McIntyre. I am part of Georgia Council of the Blind, but I'm actually sharing on behalf of my mom, who's be testifying in a few minutes. She has memory loss and so does not remember our process of going through vocational rehabilitation to try to get her a job. So I just want to share with you some of the story of how we've come to really support the commission. My mom was born blind and has had jobs and things. She had 4 of us kids, so then she wasn't working. When my parents divorced, she realized she had to start looking for a job, and finding a job is difficult as a blind person. And at that time, vocational rehabilitation was going through transitions. They got rid of their specialized counselors for blindness. And so we ended up finding a job on our own through a friend of ours with the county, being a Braille transcriptionist. That was wonderful. It lasted 3.5 years, and then she was let go. Now we're back looking for a job. She's, in her mid-50s. She needs a job. She needs to work. We contacted vocational rehabilitation. We went through counselors every 3 to 4 months. There was a new counselor. So you didn't even have time to build a relationship. She finally pushed, and we pushed and pushed through people we knew at the top to get specialized training in New York. So she left for 3 months, leaving my baby sister, between 3 of us, different people to rotate. To get specialized training in hospitality. They taught her how to use Excel. They taught her how to use the computer systems hotels would be using and those types of jobs. So we came back and we're told, okay, vocational rehabilitation will help you find jobs in the field that you now have this training. And they did not. The types of jobs they sent were not even something a blind person could do. I say favorite one is her counselor sent us a library job for her to put books back on a shelf at a library as a totally blind person. I'm sorry, I don't know a blind person or someone who has trouble reading that can do that type of job. And so this commission is really important to us because we see those gaps. We see that there is need for people who understand blindness and know blind people are capable of working They do a great job. They're wonderful workers, but we just need that understanding. And right now, we're not getting that with GVRA. They're making it harder and harder for people who go blind to even get services because they've said, well, if you don't know that you can work, you don't want to get a job where we can't help you. Well, if you don't even know a blind person, how do you know that you can live a life? You can be independent and do those things. So we really appreciate you hearing this bill and hope you guys, pass it on to the Senate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Danielle. Thank you so much. All right, and we also have, is it Betsy? And it's Granovich? Okay.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm Betsy Grinovich from Loganville, Georgia, and James is my guide dog. I am speaking in favor of this bill. We've checked other states who have commissions, and this bill is based pretty much on theirs, and most of their commissions, of course, are successful because the counselors who are working with them are trained to work with blind people. So many of our counselors here in Georgia have no idea what to do with some of our equipment that we use. We're also often told that we're too expensive, so therefore we're not serviced as quickly. And also with the commission, our hope is that for the commission, it wouldn't just be for those who are employed, and it doesn't sound like it's written that way, which is great, because if you just wait for those who are employed, what do you do about the newly blind who need the training, such as older seniors who don't have the training and they need that? And if the employed people are helped first, then you're leaving out a whole group of people. The only clarification we're looking for, and Senator Davenport may be able to give us this, is we're trying to figure out why the DOL would not be part that's involved with the Blind Enterprises program and the Georgia Industries for the Blind instead of Department of Human Services. That's all we're trying to figure out in the bill, but we're definitely in favor of it. My daughter told you my stories, and I wish many could be here, but most people don't have a daughter like I do who saw that you were meeting today and are able to get here that quickly. So we are definitely in favor of it, and if you have any questions, one of us should be able to answer those for you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you. All right. Senator Davenport, do you want to see any other questions for Senator Davenport? At the appropriate time? Okay. Okay. I'm good. Okay. I'll let Senator Davenport close out, and then we'll.
I'm sorry. I thought you called for me to come back up.
No, I was going to let you close out.
Oh, okay, very good. We talked to a legal counsel about this and and what could be done with it, and in order to move it, this is how it had to be written up. But we want the blind to know and visually impaired to know that the purpose of the establishment of the Commission for the Blind is to ensure that people who are blind, visually impaired, or deaf-blind from cradle to grave have access to quality services throughout the state of Georgia so they may obtain independent living skills, maximize successful career opportunities, increase independence, and self-sufficiency. And we want to make sure that they understand that all our legislators are in support of the blind and the visually impaired.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments and working with this on this bill. Pleasure of the committee, Senator Say. We've got a motion. We got a second. We got a second from Senator Jackson. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, don't see any. Are we 1, 2, 3? We've lost. Okay, we got them. Okay. All in favor? Uplifted hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got 5. And any opposed? Not opposed. Senator Davenport, looks like you are on to rules. Thank you so much. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. And thank you, Danielle and Betsy. We appreciate you coming too. All right. Senator Walker, do you want to come back up and let's see if we can restart? Whoops.
Appreciate you accommodating that little mix-up there.
And you are working, let's say, LC 280123.
Yes, sir.
Is that where we're going to start, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's, why don't you give us a brief overview again and what's missing from what was done, and then we'll work from there, okay?
Okay. Basically, SB 218, I feel like we're charged as elected officials and state senators to be good stewards with the taxpayers' dollars. And Senate Bill 218 addresses what I think is a kind of a problem in our current code. We already have all the process for removing an indicted elected official from office. All that's already in code. This simply starting on line 44, addresses the fact that if the elected official is removed, the public official is removed from office, no longer performing the duties of that office, that their pay would be suspended until the adjudication of their indictment. And again, it's for a felony indictment, and a commission has already determined that they're unable to perform the duties of their job, and they've been removed, so they're no longer working, they're no longer doing that. So I don't think they should continue to get paid. If they're in the future exonerated, then they would their pay would be they would receive the compensation upheld. That's all it does.
Okay. Okey-doke. Any questions to the author?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay. We have a motion from Senator Miller. Second from Senator Say. Okay. Any other further discussion? No further discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye. Or excuse me, raise your hand, I'm sorry. Okay. All opposed? Okay. We're done there. Okay. And Senator Walker, I'm correct that the next bill that we are going to deal with is different in that it will be on the ballot for people to vote for as we're going to the next bill. That will be the differential, one of the bigger differentials.
Yes, sir.
So I'd let you discuss that. And
So-
that's going to be LC 280124, correct?
That's right, yes,
Okay.
sir.
So-
Senate Resolution 134, and it deals with constitutional officers of the state and members of the General Assembly. So I'll read out on line, starting on line 9. Public official means the governor, the lieutenant governor, the secretary of state, the attorney general, the state school superintendent, the commissioner of insurance, the commissioner of agriculture, the commissioner of labor, and any member of the General Assembly. That's who this applies to.
You mean they could take your salary and my salary away, correct?
Yes, sir. If we were removed from office, no longer performing the duties, and remember, somebody else has been appointed into that position and they are performing the duties and they are getting paid.
Yeah.
So you're basically left with paying two people if we don't
Okay,
pass this.
very good, okay. Any questions for the author? Number 7, Senator Miller.
So under current law, they will continue to get paid. My question is, if this law is signed by the governor, will their pay stop at that time? Or will that person continue to get paid? Do you know? I don't know if that's the case or not. It might be something that we need to talk to the legislative council.
Mr. Pro Tem, my understanding is, well, if it's signed by the governor, then it has to be on the ballot, and the people of Georgia have to vote on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long really that would take, but my understanding is once it is passed, then that would
Stop his pay.
stop their pay, yes, sir.
Any individuals, okay. Thank you.
Senator Walker, just a question following his. would that effectively, law usually does not go back. Will this be up for all future issues? Or do
I
you know
think
that?
it would be just pay going forward, yes, sir.
Okay.
Not retroactive.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions? Pleasure. Senator Jackson.
Senator, I am comparing the substitute, which I know we're not working from, but in the substitute, it says that the money has to be deposited in an escrow account until the case is satisfied. That's not in the one that we're working from.
Well, I've consulted with legislative counsel on that, Mr. Rick Ruskell, who's the head of legislative counsel, and this is a quote, he says, "I cannot perceive of any legal or practical reason to put the money in escrow." He said it would be superfluous, and basically you've got the full faith and credit of the state of Georgia backing this, so I don't see any reason to go to the expense and the trouble of setting up and segregating this money when we have, about a $28 billion budget, and you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, more than likely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Pleasure of the committee, let's see,
Yeah,
Senator
that-
Say.
They can do it if they want to. I just was trying to move us along, but I'll do pass.
Okay. Yes. Senator Ramon?
No, if we pass, I'll just put motion to.
Oh, okay, so we have a motion. I got a second? Okay, got a motion and a second, Senator Miller. And any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. And all opposed? And it passes unanimously. Okay, Senator Walker, you are
Thank you,
ready-
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
You're ready to
Appreciate
go to
y'all's.
rules and make it happen.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And we thank you. Sorry for the confusion this morning and getting this together. And thank you, members, for being here. And we will close.